Hey guys, it's the Black Critic Guy. I hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I know I did. It was very fulfilling, to say the least. But now that Thanksgiving is over and done with and everybody is lazy and sedated, I seriously doubt any of you will be leaving your couches anytime soon. I thought we'd get back to the Black Critic Guy Disney Week. So I thought I'd give another top 10 list for you guys. Now, I could go the cliche route and tell you guys my top 10 favorite Disney princesses or my top 10 favorite Disney songs, but as you know, I hate to be cliche and I love to buck the trend. Now, when coming up with this new top 10 list, I was thinking to myself, what Disney top 10s have not been done before, or at least not been done as frequently as other Disney top 10s, like top 10 favorite movies, top 10 princesses, top 10 heroes, you know what I'm talking about. And I came up with a bunch of interesting top 10 lists that I might do later on in the future, but the one that I chose to do this time around is on my top 10 favorite Disney TV shows. Now, you're probably wondering to yourself, out of all the Disney top 10 lists I could have made, why am I choosing my top 10 favorite Disney TV shows? Well, in my honest opinion, out of all the things Disney, I think Disney TV shows are the ones that are normally put on the back burner. They don't get that much attention. Yet, ironically, the Disney TV shows are the ones with the highest nostalgic value because we remember watching them on Saturday mornings as kids. I mean, don't tell me you don't remember waking up early so you could go catch your favorite cartoon show on Saturday morning. That's like a tradition for any kid growing up, just like playing hide and go seek or trying to avoid eating your vegetables. But I'm not gonna lie, out of all the channels that I watched growing up, the Disney Channel was my least watched channel because I was still into, cartoons, Nickelodeon, SpongeBob came out, Ed and Eddie was still funny, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and so on and so forth. Disney was kind of like on the back burner of my mind, but that's not to say that they did not have some interesting shows that I adored watching. Now, for this top 10, I only have one real rule, and that is that the show had to be produced by the Walt Disney Company. If they were syndicated from shows from ABC or from other TV channels, it doesn't count. But enough babbling, let's get to the list. Starting at number 10 is more of a casual watch for me, but I still remember it very fondly, and that is Recess. I mean, it's a show about a bunch of kids having fun during recess. Why would I not like that show? Of course, instead of watching a show about recess, I could just go outside and play recess, but still, it was fun to see these 6 friends go out, have fun, get into wacky situations. It was a fun time. Number 9 is That's So Raven. Yes, I know that was a bit silly, but I actually really did like this show. It's the only live action show I ever liked on Disney Channel. True story. Whereas most people would say that they liked Lizzie McGuire or Even Stevens or The Sweet Life of Zack and Dingus, I personally enjoyed watching That's So Raven. I mean, at one point it was the highest rated show on Disney Channel. That's impressive. But it got those high ratings for a good reason. I mean, the show was quirky, humorous, fun, the characters were likable. I really like Raven-Symoné as the main character, and I love how they would get into situations because she can predict the future, and so they have to find a way to make sure that that situation does or does not happen. Number 8 on my list is Goof Troop. Now, Goof Troop is one of the few choices on this list that I did not watch very frequently as a kid, and that's not because I didn't like watching it or because I just didn't want to see it. It's because I didn't have Toon Disney as a channel because I grew up in Guam and Guam did not have Toon Disney, so it freaking sucked. But whenever I would go to visit my granny in Tennessee, they had Toon Disney on their TV, and I would immediately just run straight to the TV, turn it on, and I'd be like, oh, hey granny, and then go back to the TV. Man, my eyes would be glued to that screen whenever Goof Troop would come on. I mean, out of all of the original Disney characters, Goofy is my favorite. He was the silliest, he was the wackiest, he was the funniest. So when he had his own TV show, you bet your ass I was gonna watch it. Not only that, but it has one of the catchiest and most memorable opening songs I've ever heard. Number 7 is The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Just like Goof Troop, the opening theme for this show was catchy, memorable, and I loved it. It was featured as well on my top 10 nostalgic opening themes, yada yada yada. It's also one of the few choices on this list in which the show was based off of a Disney movie. And one thing I always wanted to see was more adventures with Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robinson. I mean, we got a few adventures in the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, but I wanted to see more. And that's what the show delivered. More adventures with Christopher Robin, Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, Rabbit. Eeyore, all the friends in the 100-Acre Woods, and I loved every minute of it. Number 6 is Proud Family. It's kind of in the same vein as That's So Raven, where it features a prominently black family, but where it differs from That's So Raven is it's a prominently dysfunctional black family in which they have to deal with their rebellious teenage daughter, 2 crazy ass kids, and a grandma that will beat the ever-loving shit out of you. Not only that, but she absolutely hates the person that her daughter married, who is this failure named Oscar, and he is honestly the funniest character in this entire show. The Proud Family had the right amount of comedy mixed with some good family morals that made for quite an entertaining TV show. And not only that, but the animation was vastly different from any other animated series that they ever had. In fact, it probably was one of the best animated shows they ever had based on animation alone. Number 5 is our 2 favorite disproportionately shaped duo, Phineas and Ferb. Now, the reason why Phineas and Ferb is so high up on this list, considering it is fairly recent and it came out when I was no longer a kid, is that it brought back something that I felt like was missing on Disney Channel. And that was creativity and imagination with a mix of fun, entertainment, and also education. I mean, I would have never knew what the end of a shoelace was called if it wasn't for Phineas and Ferb. I believe it was called, Peaches? Nah, I'm just kidding. I know what it is. It's an aglet. I mean, they sang it so many times in the damn song, you would think it would be hard to forget what an aglet is. Way to go on that one, Candace. Phineas and Ferb just has everything that defines a good kids show. But not only that, but it also appeals to an older audience. I mean, some of the jokes in this show kids will not get, but adults will laugh their asses off at, making it a show not just for kids but for the entire family, and that's what makes a great kids show. And of course, I can't talk about this show without mentioning the many adventures of Perry the Platypus, aka Agent P, as he fights the evilly incompetent Doofenshmirtz. Every time I see these two together on the screen, I laugh my ass off. It doesn't matter if it's very repetitive and it ends the same way. The fact that it ends the same way is what makes it funny. It's like they're the modern day Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. Same chemistry right there. Let's get dangerous with my number 4 choice, Darkwing Duck. The premise alone makes the show interesting. It's basically Batman if he was a duck. That's the entire show right there. It mixes the campiness from the original Batman series with some dark elements here and there that you would see in some Batman comics, along with some of that Disney magic that you just have to see in a Disney Channel show. But not only that, Darkwing Duck was also one of the other shows that as a kid I did not see that much because it only showed on Toon Disney, and again, I didn't have Toon Disney in Guam. But when I would go visit my grandma, you bet your ass I was staring at that screen. I mean, you just got so many memorable characters, some interesting and creative action sequences, and an overall fun and enjoyable show that kids will absolutely adore. With another catchy theme song, by the way. I mean, Disney is legendary for their catchy theme songs. Now, my number 3 choice means no worries for the rest of your days. That's right. The Lion King's Timon and Pumbaa. This was yet another Disney show that was based off of a very successful Disney film. I bet you can never guess which one it is. Probably Pocahontas. But it's also a show that gave us what we asked for, and that is more moments with Timon and Pumbaa. Because you can't deny that in The Lion King, you want to see more of Timon and Pumbaa. What situations they would get into, the wacky things they would do. This was the answer to all of our prayers. I mean, the chemistry was still as solid as it was in the movie. The jokes hit even harder in the show than they did in the movie. And the freedom to do what they wanted to do, because, I mean, this is their own show, made for some very interesting and enjoyable episodes. Timon and Pumbaa was one of the highlights of my childhood, and I'll never forget them for that. As they always tell me, Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Number 2 is Lilo and Stitch, the series. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to many of you, considering how much you all know I love Lilo and Stitch, and the placement of Lilo and Stitch on my top 10 Disney films But just like Winnie the Pooh and Timon and Pumbaa, this was another TV show that was based off of a very popular Disney film that I felt like could have explored more of the world of Lilo and Stitch, and that's exactly what they did, and they did it with flying colors. One of the biggest questions that a lot of people had after the end of Lilo and Stitch is that Stitch is referred to as Experiment 626. If he was Experiment 626, then what happened to the other 625 experiments? Where are they? What are they doing right now? And that's exactly what this show and the direct-to-DVD movie that came out before the show, which was kind of like their pilot episode, I guess, answered. The show follows Lilo and Stitch as they go around the island looking for Stitch's cousins, as they're referred to in the show, and to find their rightful place, each one of them having a specific trait or talent that is unique to themselves. It was the only Disney Channel show that I literally ran home to watch. It would come out at a specific time with new episodes, and I would literally just run home so I didn't miss a new episode. That's how much I was really into the adventures of Lilo and Stitch. The show was fun, creative, hilarious, kind of touching in some points, and gave some good moral lessons for kids. And not only that, it had one of my favorite crossovers I ever seen in a cartoon show. In fact, the people that they crossed over with are my number one choice. So who is my number one choice, you may ask? The one that crossed over with Lilo and Stitch the series? Well, that show is none other than Kim Possible. Not only is it a very punny show, I mean, just look at the main characters' names. I mean, Kim Possible, Ron Stoppable. But it has everything that I love about Disney animated TV shows. I mean, they had a lot of funny references, a lot of jokes that adults would get, some good romance, some good action. It had the entire package wrapped up in a pretty bow. Not only that, it has one of the catchiest theme songs, great voice acting. It was just great. I loved watching the adventures of Kim and Ron as they face their many adversaries like Draken and Shigo, Monkey Fist, Dee and Amy, that one Scottish guy. I mean, the list can go on. Each one of the villains were comical and funny and exciting and menacing in their own ways. So many memorable moments in that show. To name them all would just take forever. So I just recommend going to watch that show. The entire series is on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description for a channel that has all the show. Hopefully they did not take that channel down. But honestly, guys, Kim Possible is my choice for my number one favorite Disney Channel show that I have ever seen. And those were my top 10 favorite Disney TV shows. And I would like to know, what are your favorite Disney TV shows? They could be current or they could be old. Did I mention them on this list, or did you feel like I left one out? Be sure to comment below. Let me know. Also, stay tuned. Tomorrow will be the last day of the Black Critic Guy Disney Week, and I have a very special video coming up. Like I said, I'm working on it right now. And also, I will not be having my live chat tomorrow because I have terrible internet connection here, and to do a live chat here would be terrible. So I'll be doing it on December 1st back in my other place, back in Orlando basically. So stay tuned for that. But until then, guys, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the Black Critic Guy. A car just passed by, so probably you didn't hear me say that, but welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. Please check out my Facebook fan page. The link will be in the description. And I'm Tony Wilder II from the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.